Good morning to my nephews and nieces from all around the world. How are you doing today? Now, today I want us to talk about a topic that is very close to my heart, and that is travel. Yeah, I want to share some of the lessons, if you want to call them so, from some of the trips that I've taken around the world, and that's why I started the video here. On my left is the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, which is one of my favorite places in the country because it is my entry point into the rest of the world. Yeah, so I love it a lot. And today I'll therefore share my lessons from visiting the UK, the United Kingdom. I think the first thing that I have to start with is the difficulty of accessing some of these countries with an African passport. Yeah, I do my best to avoid going to countries that make me feel inferior even before I leave my country. Yeah, and normally they do this with a very chaotic visa process where you have to prove like a million things. You have to prove that you have money. You have to prove that you have ties in Africa, that you'll come back. And it annoys me so much. Yeah? And sadly the UK is one of them. But I really wanted to take it off my bucket list. And so I decided to bite the bullet and go through that silly process. So as an African traveling on a Kenyan passport, the world is not very welcoming of me. That's a sad reality. And this means that we as Africans have to do better. We have to improve our countries. We have to participate more in global trade so that we stop being a burden to other nations around the world. But that's beside the point. Yeah? That's beside the point. Now, the first thing that I noticed about London, which was quite, of course, different from what I'm used to in Nairobi here in Kenya, is that you have to be very affluent to be able to drive your car into the central business district. Yeah, I noticed that there are like a million charges. First of all, the parking is very expensive. That's the first thing. The second thing is that every side of town there's a different kind of charge or tax. On one side you find a congestion charge. You go on the other side, you find an emissions tax. And so it's really expensive to operate a vehicle within the CBD in London. That was the first difference that I noticed, as opposed to here in Kenya, where, as you notice, I drive all the time. I drive wherever I want to go. My office is in the CBD, and I park right beneath it. For a paltry $2, I'm able to park my car in the CBD in Nairobi, which I think is really cool. And I have my space. Look at me. I have so much space to myself. So what happens is, if you can't use your personal car to run errands in the center of London, then you have to use public transport. Yeah? So public transport is good because it's organized, and I like that a lot. I love order, which we don't have in Africa. Yeah? So I think that's a plus. That's a plus that they have. I know a lot of the Brits that I met were complaining that the London Underground is never on time. But they have no idea. They have no idea how on time that service is considered to what we have here. Yeah, most of the public transport here does not operate on a schedule. They just run at whatever time they feel like. And even for the ones that claim to operate on a schedule, can be an hour or 2 hours late. But as far as I'm concerned, that's where the positives end in the organized public transport system. The other thing that I noticed about London is that it's a very cold and unwelcoming city. And I'm not even talking about the temperatures. We shall get to that shortly. Yeah, I'm just talking about the people in general. The city is just very, and I think it's because of the mass transport system. It's very robotic. Yeah, it's very robotic. I got there early in the morning, and there are these hordes of people just moving towards a train, and other hordes moving from a train, and I found it to be very ridiculous. All of them wearing their headphones, they did look like robots. Yeah, they did look like robots. I felt like a ship being herded from one train to another. Yeah, you go to this side, you can't move to this side. You have to move in this direction because that's where everyone is moving. And that was very unusual to me because here, since we don't have an organized mass transit system, I'm used to going in whichever direction I want. And since here I can use my private car, then at no point do I feel like I'm part of the system, that I have to be herded into this direction, into this train. Yeah? And then there's the issue of personal space, especially during peak hours. You're packed like sardines, as the English say, in those trains, with people breathing down your neck. And I found that to be very unusual because I'm used to having my personal space to myself. Yeah? I found that to be really weird. At some points during peak hours, we had to fight to get into a train. I'm not used to fighting to get into my car or into a plane. So I found that to be really weird. And I asked myself, between the Brits, the Londoners, and I, who is living in a developed country? Yeah? Who is? And then let's get to the weather. The weather was horrible for the time that I was there. Temperatures used to range from 0 to 7 degrees Celsius. Now, for some of you white people, that may sound like a normal temperature. But for a warm-blooded African, that's like living in a refrigerator. Yeah? I don't understand how people live there. I don't think those places are designed. I don't think God designed places like the UK to be inhabited by human beings. I don't think so. Because naturally, human beings are not supposed to survive in such temperatures. That doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah? So basically, this and very many other things really made me wonder why many Africans leave Africa. They risk their lives to go to the UK. I just couldn't understand it. I couldn't get it. Because if I compare my life here in Kenya and the life I'd live in the UK, this is heaven on earth. This is heaven. To maintain my standard of living, the one that I have here in the UK, I'd need to earn at least 3 times what I earn here. So the intelligent Brits that I've seen are retiring here. Once they're done working in the UK, they move here, they marry some Kenyan girl or something, and then they buy a ranch. They buy a ranch and have their pension wired here. And they live the life because the cost of living here is quite low. It's quite low. So I was really disappointed to see on my return flight, I can barely see where the hell I'm going, man. There was a Kenyan lady who was being deported back to Kenya, yeah, from the UK, and she was hysterical and she was crying throughout the flight. And I couldn't understand why. And she was so hysterical. And she at some point had to be tranquilized just to get her to calm down. And I couldn't get it. I was so happy to be on a flight back to my country, back to my warm country, where I enjoy a good life. And she was crying that she was being made to leave the UK. Of course, I don't understand her full situation, and that's her life, but I just didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. Yeah, so what are your thoughts about this? Yeah, have you ever been to the UK? What are your thoughts about it as an African, as someone from a developing country? Would you move there from your country? Let us know in the comment section down below, and we'll keep talking about life. So please like this video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and we'll keep talking about the interesting things that I've seen around the world. So have a good day, and see you around, man. Cheers.